Hello everybody and welcome back to another War of the Visions video. Today we're going to be talking about the second Final Fantasy Tactics collaboration featuring Mustadio, Delita, Agrias, and several limited vision cards, as well as a full rerun of the previous cards and units. So it's a really big deal. There's a lot of things that people have been waiting for coming with this event, and it's super exciting. So there's a lot of decisions to make, and I'm going to be splitting up these should you polls into multiple videos. So today we're going to be talking about Mustadio and the vision cards, and then we'll make more videos for Delita and Agrias, and I will talk about Ramza and Orlando at some point as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, let's start by talking about Mustadio. So he is a limited time MR, which is a very interesting concept because MRs are still pretty hard to build in this game. Their shards are going to cost less and you'll get less of them in the bundles that you can buy in the shop, but he should be easily maxable even if you have a lower amount of Visior, which is great, but it's just a lot to invest in for a limited time unit, and I think that most of the people that get him are going to be getting him on their way to other tactics pulls, but he is definitely worth a look at, so that's what we'll do here. So he is Earth Element, he's got 3 move, 1 jump, and his main job is Machinist. He's also got Ranger and Thief, which are excellent sub-jobs, and just excellent sub-jobs for a gunner in general. He uses guns, obviously, and then your hat, cloth, accessory, pretty standard stuff. Alright, let's see what this guy has for stats. So right off the bat, you can see his HP is pretty low, but the rest of his stats are looking real nice. The strength is good for an MR. The crit rate's very welcome. Super high dexterity, okay luck, very high agility, and then no defense or spirit, which is pretty typical. So he's honestly looking pretty good here, and he is going to get 20% increase in dex from one of his board panels, and the dexterity is going to help him crit. It's also going to help him hit, but accuracy is really not going to be an issue for Mustadio, as you're about to see. So taking a look at his resistances, 15% plus to lightning resistance is always welcome in this game, and then the wind is just how it goes. There's lots of good wind units, but that's fine. His HP is so low, like he's got the minus 15 slashing and the minus 10 magic, which are also not ideal, but his HP is so low that I feel like anything's going to kill him anyway. So really he's a gunner. He's supposed to be at the back of your party. You're supposed to pair him with the tank for a lot of different formations, so he shouldn't be taking that many hits. He does get the 15% pierce, which is fine. His status ailment resistances are cool. There's don't act and don't move, both get some positive to it, and those are fine. Those are good ones to have, especially if there's going to be other Mustadios out there. Looking at his TMR, it's a gun. It's got low attack. The HP doesn't really matter, but the accuracy and crit rate are both welcome, and it's really going to stack for him. It also has a chance to decrease someone's evasion rate on hit, which is really neat. So we'll just put this all together in a second here. If you look at his master ability, increase accuracy by 30. So he's going to have a ton of accuracy from his master ability. He's going to have a ton of accuracy from his dexterity. He's going to have accuracy from his TMR. So if you bring him into a evasion matchup, he's going to be able to hit the evade units and then lower their evade rate, so the rest of your party can then hit the evade units. And that's not even talking about his ranger sub job that's going to have sharpshoot and guaranteed hit. The rest of his master ability basically makes it easier for his different status effects to take. So it's going to increase the chances of the immobilized, disable, and blind from his various abilities, and it will make them go off more often. So if you raise his faith to max and he is targeting max faith opponents, then the rate's just going to be super high for him to put status effects on people, which is super fun. And if I do get him, I will be making a video about that for sure. So let's take a look at his skills, his support skills. So he's going to get, I've actually done the translations this time. Well, I didn't do them, I got them. So he's got a few machinist, and there's actually 6 listed here, and I don't know that he gets all of these, because you don't always get 6. I think you usually get 5. But he gets aim from Machinist, which is going to be increase his range and increase his jump by 1. He also gets the Ranger lore from the Ranger subjob, which is increased range and increased accuracy, which he already gets a ton of accuracy, so we don't really know if he needs that or not. And that one's really a trade-off between those two abilities, whether you need that accuracy or whether you need that jump. He gets a missile attack up from his Machinist, and then the Thief lore, which is your agility and move. You get your focus from Ranger, and you get your acquired AP up from Thief. So I think you're going to be using Thief lore for sure. So he's mobile, he can get around. The increase in range is going to be awesome as well. I don't know whether you take the accuracy or the jump. Or if you're in a small map, then instead you'll just take the missile attack up rather than the increased range. But I like to think that if his accuracy is fine, you'll take the jump, and then maybe there's some cool maps where he's just able to do some fun stuff with 4 move and 2 jump and kind of get around and shoot at people. But if he's hanging back, then he doesn't need the jump as much. He's also going to get some counter abilities. This is so cool they put auto potion in. That's the best ability in Final Fantasy Tactics. I remember just getting auto potion on Ramza for the duel with Regraph, and then making sure that you didn't like pick up a potion somewhere, because you'd always use like the potion, then the high potion, and the X potion. So you'd have to like use up all your potions or sell them, so that you could he would use auto potion during that duel. He gets reflex though, and I think that you're going to use reflex because it's such a good skill, and also Mustadio has to be alive to use auto potion. So while I'm definitely going to be checking out that animation for auto potion, I don't think that I'm going to be actually using it if I were to use him. Quick action, again, you have to survive to take the benefits of that. I would rather just have reflex and have that shot at taking no damage at all, like a champ. So his main job skills, there's going to be quite a lot of cool things here, and something that's really important to note is that most of his shots have a height difference of 2, which is a big improvement for gunners. They usually have a height difference of 0 or 1, and then they have a couple of skills like leg shot has a difference of 2, and that's why Ranger subjobs are so important for gunners, because they need to have that range of height difference to be able to attack people, because they can get cut off by wonky maps. But Mustadio is going to have a way easier time than other gunners, and he has the Ranger abilities if he needs them. So taking a look at some of the unique stuff we have here, he has power shot that can inflict blind. So this is going to be like the blind attack that gunners already have, but it's going to be a better range and I think a better AP cost. He gets a increase to debuff resistance, and what's important here is that this is an AoE debuff. It means that he's going to huddle up with his team, which can be a good thing if you want, or you can turn it off if you don't want it. But I kind of like the idea of this. If he puts this on everybody, then they go forward, and you know, you've got Orlando using crush armor, maybe that doesn't take, that would be pretty neat. He has Seal Evil, which can inflict Petrify, and it's a very strong attack. He also has Rapid Fire, which is your AoE attack, and I believe the Rapid Fire is the Rapid Fire is the one that has 0 height difference, and then Scatter Burst I believe is the chain. Yeah, it's the chain ability, so that's 3 hits. So a 2-chain projectile, 2-chain earth. That's very, very useful to have on a gunner, especially a gunner with Thief subjob. So looking at his sub abilities, you're only going to get 3 if you equip Machinist as your sub. You're going to get Camouflage, which is a little bit of an evasion buff. You'll get Leg Shot and Arm Shot, and these are different than the other versions of them that the other gunners get. That Arm Shot, when I looked it up, it had that range of height difference too, so that's better than the one that people usually get. So really solid skills. If you're going the status infliction route, then you're going to be using all Machinist all the way. But then he does have the full Ranger package, and there's not a lot to talk about here. You'll turn off your charges probably, use your sharpshoot for 100% accuracy, but you might not even need it. If your accuracy is so high, you might not even need it. Vigilance is a good evade buff, but I don't know how evadey he's going to be. Barrage is situational. It's just so expensive. I don't know that you would use this. It would be interesting to see how Poison Arrow does actually with status infliction, since you're going to be doing that with him. That would be super interesting, because that can be kind of fun against tanks sometimes, to inflict poison on them. Okay, and then for Thief, it's very, very standard. You have Steal Time, which I've put twice. That's supposed to be Steal Vision at the top, Steal Time at the bottom, and you get, again, another evasion boost in Shadowcast. Snipe Dagger is fine. Again, fun if you're doing status inflictions. And then Sneak Attack. He's not going to be that close to people, I hope. So I think the real takeaway here is that he's getting the Thief stats, the agility, the Thief lore, etc. That's all good. I don't think you'll use this unless you need him to steal time, but it's certainly good to have. It's just such a good sub job to have. Okay, so we're going to compare him to our other gunners and kind of see how he stands up to them. So first we have Lucia, and right off the bat, you're always going to have your increased UR stats, but man, does she have more HP than Mustadio. And she's going to have more strength, more crit rate, even more dex, just the whole thing. The one cool thing here is that you can see Mustadio really does have good agility. And then if we look at Frederica, she's got even more HP, she has more attack. But she gets a drop off in dexterity. The one thing she has really on everybody is her agility. And then just for completionist sake, I've also got Rairyu's stats down here. So you can see that Rairyu's not that much stronger than Mustadio in terms of HP. He's weaker in terms of attack because he gets those magic stats from Red Mage. He's slower than Mustadio. He's got lower dex, lower luck, lower crit rate. It seems like Mustadio is just a straight improvement on Rairu, which is kind of a bummer, but still, it's good. If you're gonna pull for a limited MR, then I think that you're gonna want to have that that extra power that you get out of it. So what this comes down to is, should you pull for a limited MR? And I'm going to say maybe, because I think that if you don't have a gunner, or if you have just one gunner and you want to do a 2-gunner team, which is very good, then he could be really fun to build. The status effects would be really good. The ability, the accuracy is going to be absolutely huge for evasion matchups. I think that in that situation, you would be an account that would want to pull on him. I think that if you pull for Delita or Agrias and you don't get them, but you do get Mustadio, maybe you consider maxing him. If you have him and you can buy up his shards, then, or consider even getting him to 89. Although I do like his TMR in the evasion matchup. So I don't know that you're necessarily going to pull for him as a target, but I definitely think you should if you don't have any gunners right now, or if you get him by accident. I think that he's definitely worth building. As for these two, they're going to be done in a different video, but we are going to talk about our vision cards next. So we'll say, should you pull the Grass Flute and the Red Chocobo vision cards? So the Grass Flute vision card, we're going to get one copy of it for free if that's what happens. That's what happened in Japan. And it's a pretty sweet card. It gives you increased attack and then decreased evasion rate. So on any sort of bruiser or DPS or even a tank that wasn't going to evade anyway, then that's just a straight plus for it. And then you're going to increase accuracy for the entire party. And right now we have, I think it's maybe it's the Flag of the Crystal Sanctum is like an R card that gives accuracy up to the entire party. Well, this is going to be way better. It's going to come with better stats. It's going to come with better accuracy. So this is a really solid card. And the fact that we get a copy for free, you should definitely consider buying up the shards for it, and you can go Awaken 2 with it in very easily. And if you end up pulling for other units, then you might have your decision made for you if you just end up pulling copies of this. So I don't know how the banners look for the vision cards, if they're going to be separate, if they're all included, but this is a really solid card. We also get the red Chocobo vision card, and this one is tailor-made for Ramza. It gives you the magic up for the unit and then party effect light attack up. So obviously if you have this Ramza, he's a Spellblade, he's going to get magic from the stats of the card, he's also going to get magic from the unit effect of the card, and then the light attack up is going to help him as well. In a light party, this is just a super great card for him. Even in a light party that has some other mage in it that's not light, then you could put this on them, they get the magic up, your light units that you have in your party will get all the light attack up. I think that this card is very cool. We do have access to a light up card, although it was limited from the Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers collaboration, but that is going to come back as well, and that gives dark resistance up for the unit effect. So I actually have that card, so that means this is going to clash for me. So this isn't necessarily a card I'm going to go for, but if I get it, I'm going to be pretty psyched about that. So again, the question is going to be, should you pull for these limited time vision cards? And I'm going to say, and it's a cop-out, but I'm going to put the maybe stamp on there again. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I think that you're probably just going to be pulling for other tactics units, and you might get these. And if you do get them, then I definitely think Grass Flute is a card that you should build and you should develop. And then the Chocobo one is going to be a lot more of a maybe, depending on what units you have. If you don't have light units, then obviously you're not going to build this card. I don't think either card is a card to chase, a card to spend just for that card. So I guess the real answer is, should you pull for these vision cards? No, but I'm hoping that you get them when you pull for other things instead. So that's going to be it for this video, and let me know what you thought in the comments below, and we can chat about it and see if I missed anything, or if you have any plans for these cards or for Mustadio. Otherwise, you can look forward to the Delita and Agrias videos coming soon, and please join us on Discord so we can chat more outside of the videos. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. So I am the worst YouTuber ever, and I actually forgot that this red Chocobo gives you an Esper as well, and this video is actually supposed to come out the day tomorrow in my time, and I've just realized now, I filmed it last weekend, that this is an Esper, so I'm adding this in now. So let's take a look at it. So this is a mainly offensive Esper here. You can see that there is just a bigger emphasis on the attack stat, and then also pretty good agility from an Esper as far as I'm concerned, and okay stats across the board there. So definitely like a solid Esper. You can put this on a lot of different characters, and then you do get a little bit of a dark debuff, but you can make that up in this skill tree. The skill tree is pretty fine. There's some increased attack here. You can get, I believe that you can get 15% attack there. You can also get another 10 slash attack, which is always very solid. You've got your accuracy, and then you can also get 15% missile resistance, which is actually a very solid little addition. This is definitely good to have to just attack certain matchups. You can get some dark resistance down at the bottom here, and then there's some other stuff like Dark Killer and Avian Killer. So it's a good Esper. Like, this is definitely a great Esper to have in your back pocket. It doesn't change for me on whether or not should you pull this card. I think that you probably have enough Espers anyway, but this is definitely a very interesting Esper, and I definitely one other cool thing is that the cast actually is 100% accuracy, so there's some applications there and like the tower and stuff too. So this is a very cool Esper, but it's definitely not going to change my opinion on whether or not you should pull this for this vision card. So there's my quick addition to the video, and I'm sorry that I forgot about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can show your support with a like and subscribe, and by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/MussadiaGaming. Until next time, keep it real, Mussadians.